Hi, it's me, Lynn again. Welcome back to my page. Okay, so today is May 23rd, 2020. And today I should be really, really happy because it is my anniversary. It's my 6-year anniversary being married. Well, I'm not that happy today, I guess. And there's been a few things on my mind that I guess I wanted to discuss or just be let known. Normally, well, today has always been bittersweet because my, I guess, one of my closest cousins, she passed away exactly 6 years ago, the day I got married. And I know if my grandma were still here, she'd be feeling bad, but they're together now. I know they are. And I guess I wanted to, this post is mostly about my mom. I love my mom to death. And yes, we have our arguments like a lot of mother and daughters do. But my mom has always been the type to just sit back and not speak up for what she really wants. I would say kind of passive aggressive, but more passive. And growing up, we would always, or she would always teach me and my sister respect, like for our elders, our relatives. And yes, me and my sister were shy growing up. And that was one thing I hated about myself as I got older. Because it took a while to be outgoing or even talking to people. But my mom is still the same. And the way things are happening recently, it hurts my mom. But she doesn't show it. It's even hard for her to show it to me. And that hurts me because I love my mom. My mom and me we're basically all each other have right now. And well, going back to the respect thing, no matter what, as a child, no matter if the adult was right or wrong, we still respected them. Never talked back. And as I got older, yes, I was a little bit more rebellious. But I still respected them. And then I remember there was a time when I was 16 years old. One of my aunties decided to give me a beer. And at that time, she told me that I needed to go to treatment while giving me a beer and smoking weed. I just blew it off. And I never really talked to her. She wasn't I don't know what to say. Things are so different nowadays than they were back then, but after realizing things, it's opening my eyes more. And I hope to God my children are never like this whenever I pass away. I don't want them to fight. I don't want them to argue about anything. It should honestly bring everyone closer. But the way I'm seeing it now is that my grandma was the one that held everything together. Everyone always came up to her house just to see her, and no, everyone was always welcome. And now that's not it. It's all falling apart. And I don't like putting this business out there, but I know my mom will never do it. She will never stand up for what she says. Yes, I hear it. And I see the side of my mom that nobody else ever sees. And they don't try to understand because they don't talk to her. But after my grandma passed away, a few of her children decided to come to her house, or after a court date, I should say, after a court date happened, they came to her house and cleaned everything out. And I'm like, really, is this all about money? This is what it seems like it's turning into, is just about money and not, and not about family anymore. They took her washer, her dryer. They took both the TVs. And it was so fast to put my grandpa in a nursing home. And yes, I know my grandma wanted that because no one, she said, I've always heard her say this because I pretty much live right here, is that she wanted him in a veteran's home. And I am not perfect. I'm not perfect at all, but I had expressed myself to someone saying that I would have quit my job to try to take care of my grandpa because this is his home. And after this whole court thing happened and my mom was given my grandma's house, it seemed like it was just all about material things and not worrying about what's really important. Because now everything of my grandma's is gone and my grandpa's. My grandpa was so quick to go into a nursing home and no one hardly ever calls. And it broke my heart when I talked to my grandpa. He said he's lonely and he's heartbroken. And it's very understandable. Losing your spouse that you've known for 66 years, 65 years, I mean, that piece is gone from you. And I have expressed myself that I would even be willing to buy one of my grandma's vehicle, but that didn't happen. But everything in my grandma's house got wiped out, got thrown away, got burned. And this person seems to act like they have to keep up their appearance. They don't really tell what's going on, admit their wrongs. And so I'm doing this publicly for my mom because she will never stand up for anything, like I said. She told me she never wanted to fight over the vehicles. If somebody wanted to take them, go ahead, because she wasn't going to fight over it. And I understand this because I lost my dad like 12 years ago. And me and my sister, we never fought over anything. I was the oldest and my dad didn't have a will, so I ended up getting everything. Well, sections of his land were given to split between me and my sisters. But I don't get this. I really don't get the materialistic stuff. Like, seriously, what is somebody going to do with 4 cars? And I'm not complaining because the way I see it is my grandparents built everything themselves. They ended up getting the things they needed for their family by themselves without anyone else's help. Or if they did, they'd pay them back. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to ask for a handout or anything, but it just upsets me. This is what it's come to. The memories of my grandparents. And I'm not trying to say this about my grandpa because he is not gone at all, but it just seems like this house is bare now. My grandpa should have still been living here. But once my grandma passed, it seemed like he was gone right with her too. And I hate this. They were both well respected. And family isn't supposed to be fighting like this. But someone talks to extended family, telling what so-and-so did and so-and-so did because they know she's not going to stick up for herself. Or just because she doesn't say anything doesn't mean it's her way. Like I said, keeping up appearances. I wish people would get both sides of the story instead of just one. And then, like I said, I'm by far from perfect, but one just goes off and does drugs and wasn't hardly there. The other one, yeah, when my grandma was in the hospital, that was the only time I seen somebody with my grandma all the time. Other than that, they weren't out here every day up here at my grandma's house. They don't see what's going on, but yet we always got talked about. Me, my mom, whoever else was around here. And people do complain and people do say stuff, but that is not how everything goes all the time. And I'm so sick and tired of just sitting back and watching and acting like I don't have a mouth myself. But It hurts more than anything. And hurt is turning into anger, and I don't want that. I just need to speak my mind for anyone who else is listening out there that knows what's going on with my family. And no, there's two sides of the story. My mom didn't ask for this house. She never asked for anything materialistic, because what good is that? If you were so materialistic, why didn't anybody else why did everything get burned up? I sit in this house and my mom doesn't want to move up here, just hoping that my grandpa is able to come back. This is another reason this house is empty. The lights aren't even turned on yet. And right away, somebody had said that my mom had gave me this house, or that I moved in here, which is not true at all. And it seems to me that this all comes down to jealousy, being bitter, angry, hurt, and then it turns into words that people regret later. Why can't anybody just be adults and sit down and talk about this? But I guess that's too much to ask for. But that, like I said, this is what it's come down to. And right now, because of this coronavirus, we cannot go see my grandpa. And I miss him. Like, anything could, I don't know. Materialistic money, nothing can make up for all those memories, all those wasted times of not saying the things you want to say. I just know this, that my grandma would have never wanted it this way. And I miss her. I miss her just so much, and I have to keep telling myself this to stay strong for my kids. My son, every single time he comes up to my grandma's house, he cries. Because he used to come up here and fill her water bottles and do stuff for her at nighttime. And I guess that's another thing, is I was talked about because they said that I never did anything, that all I did was ask for this, ask for that. And that is not true. If people really wanted to be there, they would know. I did help out my grandparents, but that was between me and them. And I shouldn't even have to be defending myself at all, or my mother. But like I said, there's two sides of each story, so please, before you pass judgment, get both. These are my feelings right now because, like I said, I know my mom. And it hurts her. And I don't know what I would ever do without my mom, so I know how she's feeling. And it just breaks my heart that it had to be like this, because family should not be this way.